Hello, my beautiful peeps, and welcome back to A Nurse in the Kitchen. This is your friend, your nurse, Chef Maggie, and I'm back with a new video about how to make pikliz, Haitian pikliz. Now, a lot of you may have seen the recipes online on social media, and this is a basic pickle slaw that Haitians use on pretty much everything, but mostly we use it with the fried pork and the plantain, which is really the national dish if you add some rice to it. We're not going to be doing the rice, I want to show you how to make the pikliz and the plantains next week, but in anticipation I want to show you how to make the pikliz because we're going to have to put the pikliz on it and to make the well-rounded dish. Today I'm wearing my workout clothes because when I'm finishing with you, I am going to the gym. Let me tell you, when you're trying to stay healthy and you go off on a vacation or on a cruise, it's like you're starting over. So I have to get back. Oh my gosh, this is so scary. Because of course, when you were in your 30s, I could drop weight just like that. That doesn't happen anymore. If someone told you it happened, they lie to you. So basically, to lose weight right now, I have to starve. And I don't want to do that, okay? What's the point in living if you're going to have to starve yourself? And I'm a cook, so we got to eat. Anyway, and also I want to chat for just a few seconds about the burnout. As you know, this channel is all about preventing nurse burnout. And this week, lo and behold, the WHO, World Health Organization, has what's the word I'm looking for? Has accepted, recognized workplace burnout as a medical condition. Who knew? So when you say you burn out and you just can't function in your job, it's not in your head, you know, especially as women, they tend to tell us that it's in our head, we're emotional, blah, blah, blah. But no, burnout, work related, not what your husband's doing or your kids are doing to you, not that kind of burnout. But workplace burnout. Right now, it has its own ICD-10 code. Oh my gosh. If you don't know what the code is, this is what we use in the healthcare environment to bill for services. Let's say you had an x-ray done, there's a code for that. Or you get admitted with heart failure, there's a code for that. That's how hospitals and medical providers are able to bill for their services, bill the insurance companies. So we'll talk about that for a few minutes. And then, so now I'm gonna get started with the pikliz, and it doesn't take any time at all. So this is something you can do, and then you put them in a jar. Typical traditional pikliz uses cabbage, carrots, and the scotch bonnet peppers with vinegar. But now I've seen people who have put green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, they put onions. There's a Jamaican guy who's added garlic. We don't usually add all that, but if you want to bring it to a different level with the well-rounded taste, you can do that. But traditionally, we don't put all that in it. But again, like I always say, adelante. It's a free country. You want to add anything to it, be my guest, okay? So I'll see you in just a tad. Welcome back. So what we have a head of cabbage. I have 2 carrots and scotch bonnet peppers. Now remember, these are a little bit milder, so if you don't want it too hot, you want to use these, but these are fiery hot. In fact, most people, when they handle these, they wear gloves. But I'm not using gloves because I'm going to be careful. And I have salt, and I have the complete spice. I usually add a little bit of that. Some people add Maggie, you know me and Maggie, even though my name is Maggie, I don't like to use that because it's got that monosodium glutamate, which is really not good for you, chemicals, so I try to stay away from that. All right, we're gonna start with the cabbage. And usually, I love cabbage, and cabbage is so versatile, you can put it in anything. And for the slaw, you don't need so much of that big leafy green. So I'm gonna put those away, and I can use them in soups and anything else that I want to do. And we're going to be careful when you're doing this because the cabbage can be a little bit tricky. Here we go. You have to be a safe chef. When you're cooking, you don't want to put yourself at risk of being injured. And if you saw before, we're gonna get rid of that core. This week has flown by, and some of you who know I'm in school, we started summer school, and the work is already piling up. So I have to learn to manage my time better. I'm pretty good at managing my time, but you tend to, I get distracted. You know, I'm watching these shows, and before you know it, time has flown by. So I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna get the core out, this other half. I mean, I didn't have to do that, but I just wanted to show you how I get to. There are some little gadgets online now that you can buy that will basically shave that that cabbage for you. But you can do it yourself. You just go very thin. You want thin layers. And I've seen people, you know, kind of dice them. I just don't. I just like to see the shred. Yeah. You get to be a certain age, you like to do things a certain way, so bear with me. So we were talking about school. Wasn't that nice with the guy who paid off the loan for the students? We should be so lucky. I was so excited when I saw that. You have that knife. As long as you have control of it, you are in charge. That knife is not. So look at that. That's pretty. Very nice. I'll show you in a second. All right. Now this is my serrated knife. Okay. When you have something that's a little bit harder, it's okay to use that. I am looking forward to getting some new knives, you know? Those of us who cook, when we see knives, it's like buying shoes. It's just weird. I had a friend whose son is a chef. He said, oh my God, I hate to go grocery shopping with him. He stops at every stand and he had to shake and smell. And I was like, I can relate. You know, when we go to like an organic food place, oh my gosh, it's like we were in heaven. Okay, so we got the first half. Now I have 3 jars that I'm going to put them in, because preferably you want to put them in glass jars. You know, the jars that you use to pickle fruits and stuff. So that's what I'm going to be using. Let's see. I have this much cabbage, and we're going to put it in 3. I think I'm going to do maybe half of this one. I don't think I'm going to need a whole cabbage. And then your proportion of carrots to cabbage is probably 1 to 4. You don't want to put as much carrot as you put cabbage. I mean, you know what? I need to do some research into who came up with Pikliz. A lot of the Haitian recipes grew out of slavery, where people had to come up with different ways, you know, the slaves, to feed their families. And I think like soup jumeau came out that way. So I need to do a little research and see. The other thing I'm going to add to my Pikliz, just because I'm in love with this spice, I'm just going to put some thyme in here. And usually I just rip off the, you see? Let's see, this one can go whole, but otherwise when I'm doing them, I just go like this down and then get rid of, you get all the leaves without the stems. I don't know why, I'm in love with thymes. It's just like garlic. I can't ever have enough of it. And the danger for me is to use too much so that I overpower the dish And then I can hear Chef, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, Shennefield, saying, Maggie, you're overpowering the dish. Okay, so almost done. So that will add a little bit more flavor to our slaw. All right, put that to the side. And then this one, again, I could have just showed you, show you that it's already peeled, but I want to remind you to use this little peeler. This is what's going to be one of your best friends, because I saw a lady earlier in the video using a knife to peel those carrots, and I was like, ooh, that looks dangerous. And look at that. Ooh, yippee. So fast, huh? How about that? So we got that. And then the carrots we're gonna grate. Now, if you're buying, you could buy carrots from the store in the section for the vegetables, and they have some shredded carrots. You can buy that too. Yeah. I like to keep things simple. And for you too, if you want to go, I know at Sam's you can buy a bag of coleslaw mix. So if you want to do that too, you can do that too. Don't make things hard. Things don't have to be hard. Don't get caught up in it has to be that way. No, it's all about flavor. And plus, you're not going to be tested about techniques and stuff like that. So you want to use the harder section because you don't want to grate the carrot. You just want to shred it. All right? So you're going to do like this. How about that? So I'm going to do 2 of them. So that should be plenty of carrots for my coleslaw. And when it gets to be smaller, you want to go to the next one because you don't want to accidentally break your fingers. And then whatever you have left, you can use in soup or in your smoothies. How about that? I had a smoothie today. I'm trying to do that detox thing because it's like the gut needs a rest. It's a good idea if you're not vegan to go meatless once or twice a week, 1 or 2 days a week. Look at that. You have a mound of shredded carrots. To me, that is plenty. Okay? Let me get rid of my mess here. So the last thing we have left are the scotch bonnet peppers. This is what we have now. Okay? Remember I said the ratio of carrots to cabbage should be about 1 to 4. So that's plenty. Alright, scotch bonnet peppers. Oh my goodness. Now, when you talk about hot pepper, the heat is in the seeds. So if you take the seeds out, you're going to reduce the amount of heat. But because we want it to be hot, we are not going to get rid of the seeds. Because I'm going to make about 3 jars. And I know the people I'm cooking for that I'm going to gift those to like it hot. So I'm not going to take the seeds out. And I'm just cutting them halfway. Because again, if you recall, we want everything to be in scale. And since the carrots were a little bit shredded, so we have a little bit of smaller dimensions. But these are a little bit brown, so I'm going to take them out. Because I just don't want them to distort how my finished product looks. Now, if you'd go like me and you don't use gloves, just be sure you're not going to touch your face or your eyes for a little while. Ooh. For a little while. So, just be very careful. I wouldn't want you to email me and say, oh Maggie, this is what happened. Be safe. I know I promised you guys a video on food safety, and I really need to do that because it is such an important subject. Now that summer is coming, you're gonna have barbecues and stuff, and that's how people get sick. You know, I read all the time about people who went to an event that was catered, and then people get sick, sent to the hospital. Very easy to do. And I tell you, if I were a caterer, I'd be very scared. Because this heat, it was 101 yesterday and today. You know the temperatures, the danger zone, you know, to about 41 to 145, I think. That's the danger zone. So if you have any food that is left out in this heat, it's gonna grow some stuff. Woo! I can smell the pepper. Oh man, it's hot. I taste it in my throat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Woo. All right, that's funny. Goodness gracious. Okay, now here we go. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That looks hot. Okay, here we go. So now we're gonna put some salt. In this one, I'd say maybe 1.5 tablespoons. The other star of the show is vinegar, okay? You're gonna pour some white vinegar in it because when you put it in the bottles, you wanna make sure you have enough liquid. So these are the jars, mason jars, and let me put some of that green spice in there. See, it gives it a nice color too. Okay, that should do it. Marinate, let everything mix together. Now, how hard was that? This is the stuff that Haitian people live on. Some people put it in their salad. They put it on their rice. I mean, I don't. I'm not such a fan. I mean, I like hot, but I don't like too hot. Well, I start crying. To me, that's not fun. I'm gonna give it a taste. Some people like to add Maggi to their stuff. I think I've said that before. I'm just not a fan of artificial stuff for taste. And we talked about that too. If you call yourself a chef, you shouldn't be using artificial stuff to season your food. You should know how to season your food. All right, let me get a spoon. And all I'm going to taste is the liquid. I'm gonna trust myself to even taste it. Woo. Oh, it tastes yummy, you guys. Oh my gosh. It is perfect. The Pikliz tastes perfect. I mean, you don't have to put Maggi in it. Now this green spice is just got dehydrated vegetables. It doesn't have monosodium glutamate in it. Okay, here is a mason jar. You know, I may have more than 3. I know there's a girl I had done. You know what I do around the holidays? I just make these and I put little cute little cover and then ribbon, and I give them out to people and they love it. You know, and this girl said, that was the best. Oh, sorry. It's hot. That was the best Pikliz I've tasted. And I promised her I would make her some more. So today is her day. Oh my gosh. That is so yummy. This is 2. You know, I might have enough for 4. So I'll go ahead and do another jar. And then I'll save the last one for next week when we do griot, because we're gonna have to put some slaw on our griot. Wash my hands. So now we're going to add the liquid to the jar. Okay. These are our jars. We're gonna just add the vinegar, the seasoned vinegar. So I'm gonna put some in each one, and then I think I'll add some extra vinegar to the jar. Oh my God, it smells so peppery hot. Okay. That's beautiful. All right, more vinegar. Here we go. Here's your Pikliz. Nothing to it, right? This was easy, wasn't it, guys? Easy. I mean, you can do this. Some of you pickle vegetables. I'm not a fan of pickled vegetables, like beets and other things, but by all means, you can pickle vegetable. I just would prefer fresh. All right, guys, Pikliz is done. Love it. Okay, we're back. Let's talk briefly about workplace burnout. And I told you that now it has its own ICD-10 code, which is Z73.0. So if you were to Google that, this is the code. If a physician diagnoses you as having workplace burnout, that's the code they're going to use for maybe they would, the interventions might include stress management, medication to relax you, maybe your blood pressure is up. How does workplace burnout begin? It begins with an imbalance between what is expected of you and what you can deliver. And the work environment could be part of the problem. Maybe a lack of training on your part could be part of the problems. Your worries at home, in your social life that you carry into your work environment, all these things can contribute to burnout. And how does burnout manifest itself? It manifests itself in lower productivity, a decrease in efficacy in terms of how well you can do your job or you do your job. And I think the one that's most important to me is like a total disconnect between you and your job. And that's what, as nurses, we can relate to that. When you start to not feel for your patients, when you start feeling, I don't care about what you say as a coworker, I don't care what you say as my boss, and I don't care what these patients are saying, you're on the road to true burnout. And one person said to me yesterday, I think I'm there. And I said, yes, we all have been there. But can we be cognizant of the fact that it is something that is pervasive, that can creep up on you, and what can you do to prevent that or to manage it. And there is a series that is going on. I think there's a television station that is started doing a series on burnout. It's called Cut the Noise or something like that. The thing is, you have to really stop and take stock of what's going on. And it takes both the employee and the employer to be engaged and committed to manage the burnout, not necessarily eliminate it. You as the employee can do what you can to try to prevent it and be alert to the different signs and implement some strategies. But your employer, in the type of work environment that they create, also can assist. And a lot of things that are happening in the workplace right now is beyond your immediate manager's reach to make any changes. If they're cutting staff, increasing your workload, there's not much he or she can do about that, right? For example, if where you're working at, the census drops tremendously and they have to cut hours, that is a stressor. It doesn't mean it causes burnout, but it could contribute to something that's been building up. So your manager can't change that, because, and one thing I always tell my staff is that when you are an employee, you need to put your manager business hat on at the same time. You cannot be in this little cocoon that's all I do. What I do doesn't affect anything else. Yes, it does. No one lives in silos. We're all interconnected. If you're a janitor, if you're the cook, if you're the nurse, the doctor, we all are engaged in this race or in this job that we're doing, which is taking care of patients. And unfortunately, there are stressors like decreased reimbursement, new rules and regulation, more expectation that puts pressure. And they always say, whatever flows from above. Yes, if your boss is stressed, it's going to trickle down to you. Okay, now we all have to know how to manage it. So in terms of management, regardless of what you can do that you have control over, you can create an environment where your employees are engaged. You don't want to be a detached manager or supervisor. You want to be close to your employee, so that when you start seeing signs of burnout, you might want to say, oh, well, let's all go out to eat. Or you might call in, like something I like to do when I'm working. If I see everybody's kind of stressed and kind of getting a little bitchy, I'll order pizza or I'll bring food, something to kind of release the tension a little bit. You can create an environment where your employees feel like they can talk to you or they can talk to each other. If you see one snapping at somebody else, I usually don't address it right then, but later on I might say, well, you seem to be a little bit stressed out. Anything I can do? Don't catch people in the moment. Wait till they kind of calm down. But if they feel that you care, that's an important part of keeping the burnout away. And on the employee, and the other thing you could do, employee recognition. I used to do Friday cooking, a potluck. People would come in, they congregate together and they talk. Recognize people when they're doing something right. You know how they say you praise in public and you criticize in private. It works. You don't want to embarrass people in front of their co-workers, but if they did something right, yeah, you want to applaud them in front of everybody else. But if it's something personal, you want to coach them, you always take them aside in your office and in a private area, so that it's between you and that person. And you always start by praising that person. That's all going to go into play when I start doing my supervision series, which I plan on doing for you guys. But so those are some of the things that as a manager, you can create an environment that is nurturing, that is positive, that is happy. Now, on the employee side, you have to self-protect. No one can protect you but you. So one of the simple things I can encourage you to do to prevent burnout is pace yourself. Don't volunteer for all these extra shifts, okay? The scheduler, her job is to cover those shifts. Your job is to protect yourself. Every so often you can do an extra and overtime, that's fine. But don't keep piling it up and thinking, falsely that, well, I must be important to this company. That's why they keep asking me. No, they just want to fill a hole. They want to fill that chef. I will not go as far as saying they don't care about you, but you have to care about you. You have to learn to say, no, I'm sorry, I have to go with my kid to do this. I'm sorry, this is my date night with my mate. I'm sorry, I'm going for a massage tomorrow. You are allowed to say those things, and that doesn't make you an unloyal employee because you've done your part. You're trying to help out, but you're going to burn yourself out trying to be the star, the person who volunteers the most. And that's why people talk about millennials. Millennials got this down pat. They understand the balance between work and life balance. You are not going to get a millennial to just volunteer to work 90 hours a week. They tell you, no, I'm going to the beach. I'm going on vacation. That's what you need to learn to do. Learn to say no. Don't volunteer for all these extra shifts. The other thing you need to do on a day-to-day basis is take your breaks. I was so bad at doing that. I would work 12 hours with no break, not a drink of water, don't go to the bathroom. Who does that? Do you think I got a pat on the back for doing that? No. But it's my life, my health, okay? Take your breaks, take your vacation, take your PTO time, relax. And I think, again, an employer can encourage you to do that. They'll be the first to tell you, you called off a couple of times too quickly, too soon or whatever. I'm not saying call off where you get to be known by, oh, she always calls off. That's not what I'm saying. But if you've worked like 3 months without ever calling off, you deserve a day off, okay? You deserve a day off, especially if you've been working extras. The other thing you need to do to balance it out, eat well. Make sure you nourish your body. Remember, I always say this temple is your responsibility. It is, such as it is. Maybe you're 20 pounds overweight like I am, maybe. But at the end of the day, do what you need to do to feed your body. Physically, eat a balanced diet, lots of fruits, vegetables, lots of water. Don't smoke. Don't drink a lot of alcohol. You guys know better than that. Get enough sleep. I was very bad at that. I'm just starting to get back to maybe 6 or 7 hours a night. In my body, you can retrain your body. If you've been starving your body in terms of not sleeping, and then you can retrain your body to sleep because your body needs to replenish itself. So sleep, water, a well-balanced diet, have a hobby. On your day off, don't just sit at home. Go out there, go for a walk, go for a hike, get some fresh air, get your vitamin D, hang out with your kids, hang out with your friends. Oh my God. They're saying that especially in seniors, and that should apply to us. Well, I'm almost a senior. Oh my gosh. But those of us who are still working, they say that social interaction and social connectedness is one, or lack thereof, will be a risk factor for disease in the elderly. Isolation is the #1 disease. Now, those of us who live alone or are single, we have to work a lot harder to creating those relationships. It's important to be connected. Maybe it's to church, maybe it's to a group, maybe it's some friends or neighbors. Let me tell you guys, life doesn't just happen. You have to work at it. You have to be actively searching, creating, seeking, okay? So know that workplace burnout is not in your head, it's not fiction, it is real. And we don't need to go into what it could cause because when you crash and burn, depression, high blood pressure, cancer is involved in a lot of stress, related stuff that happens to our body, including cortisol, epinephrine. All these things are not doing us good. We need the downtime so our body can go back to homeostasis. And when you calm and you sleep, that's when things regenerate. You know, your skin, they talk about the antioxidants and the, you know, all this stuff. Your body needs the rest. So if you don't rest, you go into crash and burn. And on a psychological point, I talked about the relationships and all that. Make sure that you're very intentional about those as well. Don't stay in toxic relationships that really just kills you. Why? Don't do that. Don't believe the hype. Don't let the pastor tell you you need to stay with this man who's beating you up because the Bible said. Okay, don't get me started. Okay, so understand that you're a smart person. Whatever is not feeding you, benefiting you, you need to take a second look. Now, when you have kids involved, that's not a story. But to just stay with someone who is not building you up, who is causing you stress 24/7, I'm sorry, I don't understand that, because I'm a go-getter. I like to get things going and take care of things. So, you know, if you made a mistake 25 years ago, if you keep doing the same thing, you're still gonna have the same situation. All right? So be kind to yourself and keep yourself from burning out. Now, I'm trying really hard every time to keep the videos a little bit on the shorter side, because my last video was really long and I don't know if anybody's gonna watch it. It only has 6 views. Oh my gosh. But please, guys, we need to build this channel up. I need you to tell your friends. I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, because we need to grow. Thank you so much again for watching today, and I hope you're gonna enjoy Pikliz next week. I'm doing griot and plantains. So you've been warned, and we're going to enjoy, because nobody, I don't know anybody who doesn't like that dish. If there is someone, I haven't met him. I'll see you next week, and now I'm heading to the gym, and I hope you will too. Au revoir. À la prochaine.